Hey guys, I'm Michael. I'm from TravelCostaRicaNow.com, and this is the Expat series with Jillian. We already did one video with her, and I think you should watch that first. But if you didn't watch it first, fine, I'll do a quick recap. Jillian's been here down here for 3 years, and in 3 years, she's gotten pregnant, had a kid, has a boyfriend, started a business, and all kinds of new things. But this video is we're specifically talking about having a child down here. Now, Jillian, at the time she was pregnant, was not a resident. A non-resident. So we're going to get into that. So we're going to ask her little history, experience with having a child down here in Costa Rica and kind of what all that implies and what it means.
Great.
What the hell were you doing getting pregnant?
Who knows? That's the question. So,
Well, let's just walk through the process.
So first I went to the doctor, confirmed, yes, I was pregnant, and then had to deal with my visa situation. So the first thing I did was apply for an emergency medical stay. I was denied. So
Is that the norm?
I have no idea. I don't know if they normally deny people.
And did you have anybody helping you, like a lawyer,
Yes.
do that?
Yes. My lawyer did it for me.
Really?
Yes. Put in the paperwork and they denied me, saying I had to do my visa run. I had to leave the country. So because our
But you could come back. Everything was fine.
Yeah, everything was
The
fine.
visa run, guys, is down here when you're not a resident or a citizen here. You have to leave every 90 days, leave the country and come back, get your passport stamped again, and then you get to stay another 90 days.
Correct.
Which is what.
That's what, when I first came down here, that's how I was staying here.
Yeah. 10 years later.
Yeah. So I did the border cross. I had to hire somebody because for legal reasons Arturo couldn't leave the country.
Arturo's her boyfriend, husband, whatever. How do we say?
I don't know.
They're not really married, but they might as well be. Right?
Yes.
And he's a Tico.
He is a Tico, yes.
Okay. Sorry, keep going. Just trying to get everything in some semblance of understanding.
Yes. So I hired somebody to take me over the border to Nicaragua, and I did the Los Chilis normal run. It was interesting. Like the whole day, I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to use the bathroom. I couldn't really, you don't want to tell anybody what your situation is. So it was just get there and get back as fast as we can, and it was fine. I made it, no big deal. I even, after that, had a trip planned to go to California. So I knew I was leaving pregnant anyway.
Okay.
So that was a little bit later in the pregnancy. I just was a little bit nervous about Nicaragua. But it turned out to be just fine. So what I did is I found out I was pregnant, and I realized very quickly that most of the doctors don't speak enough English for me to be comfortable in our area, and Fortuna at the time. So I found a doctor in San Jose that speaks perfect Tico Spanish and perfect English. So Arturo and I were driving there once a month.
Now you were paying out of this is a
All out of
private
pocket.
doctor. This
Yes.
has nothing to do with insurance. Right?
Nothing to do with insurance, nothing to do with CAHA, the National Health Care System here.
Okay.
Yes. I did not take that route. So my expenses were the drive there, obviously. My doctor's appointment was 60,000 colones, which is roughly 120 US dollars, and I got a 4D ultrasound every single visit. So I never had a question about Jake. Like I always knew how big he was, what he looked like, everything was fine, the heartbeat, everything was great. So that was a real big thing for me because I wasn't close to my doctor. I was
Did you
2.5
ever
hours
feel
away.
like you were getting? You felt you were getting good service,
care.
right? Great doctor, same as
Very relaxed. I mean, I didn't have a physical exam until 12 days before I gave birth. That was a little different for me. I mean, no peeing in a cup every time, no nothing. I mean, it was very natural, and I liked it.
I don't know if I want to hear about that.
Well, I mean, that's women know every time you go for an appointment what the routine is, and it just was not that. It was just an ultrasound, and he asked me if everything was okay, and I did the normal, go to the lab for certain tests, but that was it. I mean, it was very, very, very hands-off.
Now, was your plan to have the baby here?
Yes.
The whole time, have it here.
Yes.
Now, for what reason?
Well, because I wanted my son to have dual citizenship, and also because it gives me a way to get residency.
Now, just out of curiosity, if you would have had him in the States, he's your boyfriend. He would be the father of the child. What's it
I
change?
think it's the same, but I'm not sure because we never had to look into it. I guess it's something I probably should have looked into.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You didn't do
Yeah,
it that
no,
way.
I
But I
didn't
was
do
just
that
wondering
way.
because maybe he's still the father. He comes back with it.
He didn't have a visa to get into the States at the time, so that could have had something to do with it.
Arturo.
Correct.
Okay. So now, your baby now, he's how old now?
14 months.
Yeah, we're going to have to see him at this, in this video, right?
Sure.
We
We'll go
can't
get him
make
at
up
some
a
point.
baby and act like he's not around.
We'll go get him at some point, but they'll disrupt us
So
right
he'll
now.
have dual citizenship.
He does have dual citizenship. I did that 6 weeks after he was born. we were planning on going to the United States to see my family. So first I got him his U.S. passport. So you have to apply for the birth abroad certificate, his social
And that's
security
all
number.
here. You're doing this here.
At the U.S. Embassy, yes. Everything's in Costa Rica. So after he was born, well, we didn't even get to the birth. Let's go back. So I went every month, and then what I did is when I came back from California, I found a house in San Jose that we rented because my doctor wanted me to stay in San Jose for 5 days after I had the baby. So, and I had planned a C-section because of my medical issues, so I already knew everything that was going on, and I decided to have him at SEMA Hospital. So I rented a house because he asked me to be there, and the night I had the baby, the house fell through. So we moved in the day before, it fell through that night. So Arturo was
Really?
moved, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so-
The lady came back and it was like, you guys left the door unlocked and there's been murders around here recently. And we're like, I told Arturo, pack the car, I'm not bringing the baby there. So we moved into a hotel in Escazú and it was amazing.
The night, wait, the day after, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the day I gave birth, he had to leave the hospital to go move us out of the house and into the
Now,
into
could
the
you have
hotel.
stayed at the hospital any length of time, or you just got to pay an arm and a leg for it?
It was, okay, so everything for the birth, including, my C-section and everything, with one night stay was $5,000. If I wanted an extra night, it was $400.
Now, how would that compare? I know nothing about this, so how would that compare with this, like the States, if you had?
I don't really know. I mean, if you have insurance, some insurance will pay more, some will pay less, but
I'm assuming it had to be cheaper.
it was cheaper here. I mean, especially with no insurance. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket.
And I want to make it clear, guys, so SEMA Hospital is a top-notch, regular hospital that you would see in the States, top-notch doctors. It's not this third world, you're on a gurney in the hallway
No.
giving birth thing, so.
This is like their luxury hospital, yes.
And I'm sorry, it was how much?
5,000 for, it's a one night, it's overnight, and I had a C-section. What was interesting was, and what I didn't realize after talking to some moms here that had their babies in the States, usually the pediatrician doesn't come and see the baby till later, and my pediatrician was in the room when he was born. She was the one who checked him.
The pediatrician?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty
So all
interesting.
in all, it was a good experience.
It was. I recommend everybody stay in the hotel, even if you don't have to. It was amazing. Breakfast down, at the restaurant, 20 minutes of sun by the pool.
Was this
Nap.
hotel set up for
No.
kind of someone like you, or
Not
did
at
you
all.
just?
I called them up because I had been going the last few months of my pregnancy, I couldn't do the round trip in one day. It was making me too sick with the roads. It was a 3.5-hour each way drive. So minimum with no traffic to get to San Jose from here. So the last few months I just said, let's go stay at the hotel. And so that was my first call. I called them up. And by the way, this is we had a house with a kitchen. So we had food. We had to call and be like, chef, can you help us? And they said yes. So they had made me like oxtail soup for the bone broth and things like that. They were helping me heal. And it was a great experience. Yeah.
So, okay, you were saying off camera a little bit about. I want to make sure everybody's clear. Jillian was a non-resident at the time. What happens if Costa Rica knows you're pregnant as basically a tourist?
I mean, they could tell you to leave, pretty much, if you're getting close to giving birth. I mean, if they think that you're going to have a baby here, I mean, if somebody were to turn you in or say something, I guess technically they could. I mean,
Tell you to go have a baby, like in the States.
yeah. So, technically, I guess it could.
Although I still don't know if it would change anything since your husband
Since
is
he's here.
Chico and that kind of thing.
I have
So,
no idea.
I don't either. Interesting.
Yeah, so I gave birth, we came home, and it was great. I mean, the whole birthing experience in Costa Rica was amazing. Getting his documents was a little more complicated, but we still did it. It's just a lot of driving. Everything in Costa Rica is a lot of driving. You always have to show up in person for everything.
Now, did you have help with that?
No.
You
We
just-
did it ourselves. So the same day what I did was I made an appointment for Arturo's visa appointment and Jake's his passport on the same day. So on one window we handled Jake and on the other window we handled Arturo, and we walked out with everything we needed. So
So it was just like a long day.
exactly.
I'm just still trying to get this whole thing. So you guys technically aren't married yet. Does that change anything?
No, now that I have my son, I was able to apply for residency. So 6 weeks after I had him, I turned in his birth certificate. I went down to immigration. I did my fingerprints, and now I'm just waiting. Now, from what I understand, I should have had it long ago. But
Same, me too.
from what I understand, they lost my background check, and that's what I'm still waiting for my lawyer. So, which has caused other problems with the business and on and on and on.
That's another video.
Yeah, but that is basically how I got residency was through Jacob.
Right. One of the 6-7 ways you can get residency, right?
And that's I believe it's the only way without having to prove any kind of income.
Well,
I don't have any
or
kind of
marriage,
income.
right?
Yeah, and I believe even like a friend of ours is married down here, and I think it took her 2 years to get her residency after being married.
Really?
It was a longer process. Yeah, and I don't know why. I don't know how she was doing it or whatever, but yeah, I guess I could have gotten married, but
We got to make sure it's a legit marriage.
yeah, I do believe a legit marriage. I think you
So
do
you have
have
to
to
wait.
go to an interview even.
Yeah.
It used to be a big loophole. Everybody said, "Oh, I'm married to."
Right. So I think that's why. So I just figured with baby, they go stamp, you're done.
Well, I think that's cool. He's gonna have dual citizenship. That's
He does.
nice.
He already has 2 passports.
Wow, man. He's like the born identity and shit.
Yeah. We call him the United Nations because his great grandmother's Japanese. On the other side is German. And then now Latin and everything else. So we call him the United Nations.
And if he keeps going the way he is, he's gonna be playing pro football somewhere.
This is true. But we're kind of grooming him to be the president of Costa Rica. That's the idea.
Okay, you gotta go.
All right. Here. Should we say hi to Mike? Can you say hi?
This is Jake, everybody.
He says it's a camera. I know
He's
exactly what to do.
He's got dual citizenship. I don't even have
Yay! Can you wave to the camera? Hola. He's like, what's that? Can you say hi to D'Angelo? Like, hola.
Hola, Jakey.
Uh-oh, somebody's distracted.
Jake.
14 months.
14 months, yep.
Hola.
Big
So what
boy.
about aftercare? Did you have a whole lot of like after he was born? Did you have to go to the doctor every?
Yeah, I guess that's something that's an interesting thing. In Costa Rica, vaccinations are mandatory. So they are mandatory. So there is, yeah, I mean, she told me, like, you have to be back by this date for these shots. And I have a record that I keep with his passports that I have to have at all times. So it's in his diaper bag, and we carry that.
What are some of the vaccinations that you got? Regular stuff like
Regular, yeah.
smallpox stuff, or
You know, they said that they give him to that one at birth, right? And that's where you get the little scar. But so far, we haven't seen anything pop out on him. So
how do you feel about the vaccination?
because I didn't have an option,
Some people have a problem with it. Though.
Correct.
Did you have?
I decided that I was going to I decided to have a baby in this country, so I followed the rules.
Right.
I don't, those are. Why try to stress yourself out about something that you really can't control? You know, it's one of those things where I'm not going to fight something
Right.
that's, there. So I decided to have a baby here, so that was one of the things that you deal with. No.
I thought
Okay.
go straight for it.
Yep, of course. And that's what it's like having a baby.
I remember these days.
Sticking fingers in fans. Huh, buddy?
So he goes. So again, back to that. So after he was born, it's just vaccination stuff.
Yeah, vaccinations, and I mean, we're almost done at 15 months. He has his 1 year, his last big set before I think it's just a year, or maybe till he's 5 is the next one. Excuse me, after this last one.
So is there any brothers and sisters planned for the future, Jillian?
No. No. One
See,
and
you're
done. Arturo has other kids that I love very, very, very much, and we wanted to finish off our family, and here is the icing on the cake. Seriously. Mama, you're funny.
Anyway, guys, if you watch this video and you do have questions, I would go ahead and put it in the comments, and maybe we can either get back with them or something, because I know it's more complicated. Maybe you have some other questions you'd like to know. But anyway,
Yeah, the doctor's name. I can recommend doctors and all that good stuff.
so that's
too.
good to know. Did you hear that? She can recommend doctors and probably even lawyers too to do all these things if you need help, that kind of thing. So anyway, thank you, Jilly, for all your information.
No problem.
Thank you, Jake, for being so cute.
Yay!
Anyway, guys, I'm Michael on TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps. That's actually what the videos do. They just